Section 22, breach and enforcement. What we're trying to do here is we still have in the mandatory binding arbitration provisions, and we're really trying to, if an issue arises, to try and incentivize all parties, on both sides of this to resolve the issue. We want everybody, incentivized to resolve these issues.
Right. And Louis, I don't know if you've ever been through an actual binding arbitration. They're wildly expensive. The lawyers do great. What we proposed was not dissimilar to the two meetings I went through, one with the club, one with the corporation, one an hour long, one 45 minutes long. Everyone was told to say nothing. We were told in advance they were told to say nothing. The corporation kind of got their way. With the agreement and all the things we have in here, the things that we could possibly argue about, the judges said we have to go to the architecture committee on this property. We obviously don't on our property we're on now, but so we do. So if we want to put in a deck or something, we're going to have to go to the architecture committee. There's a judge's order on that. I don't know what else is possible, but I'd rather have this conversation. And no disrespect to Bill or Louis, you have your roles, but Patty, we've been through a lot of these meetings, and you've been really a bright light in all of kind of coming up with things that make sense for us. So I appreciate it. But have a conversation. Hey, we don't like that you're hanging laundry out on the railing. Well, it's not going to happen. But we're having a golf tournament next. I don't know what it is, but have a discussion about it. Somebody send something. That's why I said what I said. It doesn't have to be. Read
this, Craig. It's really aimed at breaches. A breach of the agreement. And if there's a breach of the agreement, how do we resolve it? We can go to court, or we can go to binding arbitration. Our preference is arbitration, and this is a very standard thing. We can adjust the language in here some ways, but this is really an enforcement mechanism when there's an alleged breach, and we're trying to structure it in a way that both parties are incentivized to resolve it.
Right, but I was trying to get it so that if it's not three retired judges, you put three judges in a hat and you pick one, that's the judge. It's trying to make this so this was minimal, very little cost. If people want to hire lawyers on their side, that's fine, but come in and try to do it for 30 days amicably. If we can't, then it's binding. But to go to binding arbitration, $100,000 is cheap. And obviously we've spent probably half of what you all have spent. And it's all unnecessary. If people would have, we've been through this 7 times before. Things did change, as we wrote last night, on the afternoon of December 7th. We appreciate that. We recognize that. But I don't know why we want to feed the lawyers with a vehicle, and I don't want there to be an incentive to someone to all of a sudden do something which they have no business doing, but they can just file it, and everyone posts money, as opposed to what is the issue, right? And it could even be that a different mechanism than the judges. Maybe it's a panel of 3 and 3. You all pick 3. We pick 3 of island residents or of people in the neighborhood. I mean, it doesn't have to be 3 judges. I'm trying to make it a minimalist thing that's still binding, right? We're still up to here.
I don't want to reinvent the wheel as to how arbitration works. And what we've put in here is that we use the expedited arbitration process of the AAA, American Arbitration Association, where it's already done.
It's hundreds of thousands of dollars, Louis, for somebody implying that someone has had a breach. This is not a breach. This is someone implying there's a breach. Hundreds of thousands of dollars. I demolished the American Arbitration Building where General Petraeus had his love nest on K Street. I've been through these for the World Bank. We took it over. I'm just telling you, this is a nightmare, and the lawyers are just going to make more money. We're not interested in that. We're interested in figuring out solutions. And again, Patty's had some great things to direct us to, and I think we've made great progress.
Okay, well, you can think of ways you may want to tweak this section. We did review the proposed language that you sent over and discussed it in for a while. And
The sense was it was just too convoluted, and we feel that what's been put forth here is more streamlined
mhm.
and does not incentivize people to come forward with actions. Part of the purpose of putting the money up is that it does not encourage people on frivolous situations.
The corporation sits on how many lots? 32, 34 lots? How many lots does the corporation have, buildable lots?
I don't know. the answer.
Yeah, I mean,
What's your point?
corporation lots out there. I think it's $68 million just sitting there in land. I mean, with the way, again, this group has been different for the most part, but the way we've been treated over the last year, they would have done this, they would have done this in spades. And I can't control that Venable was involved in 2016. One of the rainmakers at Venable was involved. He was the president, right? I met with him on the 2nd of December of 19 and said, why do you have this language in the phone book? Get rid of it. Well, then I would be wrong if I got rid of it. End up going to be getting rid of. I mean, conversations are a lot better. So, we're trying to look at something that
That's what
makes
we said at
sense.
the outset, and our goal is to get to something that suits both parties.